But shenanigans are fun.
No, they're not. They're shenanigans for a reason. They didn't go far.
We have made it to Wisconsin. Yay! The kids are going out on a ride on the Gator. First things first, they gotta go first, see the land.
What
What is this?
What's your e-brake?
I don't know what that is.
Alright, well it's a brake. It's like putting your car in park.
There are the pups. Ready to ride. You happy to be home, babe?
You'd be good. Yep.
Yay!
You betcha, always happy to be home. It'll never change. Hello.
Hi,
Glad to
Helen.
be home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay. Good stuff.
Oh,
Gabe.
we got a monkey, huh?
Yeah.
There's a monkey on the roof. We've made it to the old barn, and the boys have found a dead animal. Let's see.
Pretty big sized critter.
Ooh!
It's got like a.
What could that
It's
be?
got like the nose of like a.
That is a badger.
Yeah, I think it's a.
Is that a badger?
Looks like a baby badger.
So we came up to the top to see if there was more.
It'll stand in the same spot and jump up and down. Sure.
No. More lumber for Grumpy's garage for the rest of the siding. Was this where all the other wood was stored that we used on Grumpy's garage, babe?
Some of it. We got some from the other garage over there, which we took all of that, and then we came here and got
Okay.
the rest of it in the trailer, and we're gonna get the rest later. But
There's not as much as we thought there was going to be. Bugger.
such a cool. I know, and to think 130 or 40 years later, it's still standing. It's pretty cool. And this one, that was just put in from pressure. That's the walls mowed out. It's and these beams are so cool. There is no rope.
Look at how this thing is splitting moving. You have a bowling ball, Gabriel.
Get your workout in, Gabe. There you go. Yeah. All right. New kind of exercise. Yeah, here's the milk bucket. Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take a strap and put it over the cow's back. It has a metal hook under it. So you hook this on it. You just put it up under the cow, this whole bucket.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use these go up on the udders.
Very cool.
Probably from 8 or 9 years old, maybe something like that. I'd come out in the morning. My job was to bring water out to the cows and then to feed them. And we had the food, the grain was in here. So I'd come out here in the morning and it would be totally silent in the wintertime because the snow makes it just so quiet.
Yeah.
And I would come in, it would just be me in here. It was a little spooky, but I would come in here and I would lift this up and the mice would go scattering across the grain. They'd be in here feeding. So I'd try to catch a few. So when I was farming in 1981, I raised dairy replacement heifers. So I had 10 calves in here that I was looking to raise up to sell them as milk cows to local farmers. So I bought 10 calves, and this was my medicine chest. And so I kept all my stuff in here, but I was always dreaming about the day when I would actually be milking cows in here or build my new barn. But these antibiotics were what I had to use to keep the calves healthy. And then I gave them vitamins every day. It's this, you know what this is, Gabe?
It's for sticking things up people's butts.
When you had a calf, when you had a calf with diarrhea,
Oh.
Close enough.
you put a pill in here. It's a big old, it's called a calf pill. It was a big, long pill. You'd stick it up in there. It was shaped just to fit in there.
You put it up its butt.
You stick it down their throat, like this, and then you push it in. So you actually push it down into their stomach. They don't like it,
We could use that on Brie.
but it works. Pretty effective. So look at this. So here is a vitamin bottle for cattle, sheep, swine, and horses. That still has
cool
vitamins
bottle.
in it.
This is the very first tractor I learned to drive. And same with Gabe and Bree.
Yeah, dead as a hammer. We'd have to jump it. Awesome hammer. You won't get her going. Tomorrow's project. Put wood on there.
Really? That would not be safe at all.
Cut wood. For making your firewood.
What does it sound like?
Chang. Chang. That's a big piece.
Big oak.
Ding! Hit a nail in a tree.
Are you scared? No, I'm
Here's
taking a
where I
video.
started my first wildfire.
Ooh, let's see. Let me.
Right here, I was burning this off because it was nice, and I had a nice little backfire going here. And all of a sudden, the wind switched, and it started blowing it up into the woods.
Oh,
And what was a nice backing controlled fire turned into a head fire.
hey.
And I yelled for Dad, and I was freaking out. And he came along and took an axe and cut down one of those pine trees and used it as a swatter, and he swatted the fire down with it.
So smart.
And the story got
So
it out.
a pine tree just like these guys here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. They worked great, actually.
How old were you when this happened?
Oh, I was probably 10,
Okay.
something like
Wow,
that. I
that's
was
good.
always messing around with fire.
Once a pyromaniac, always a pyromaniac.
Yeah, well, I thought I knew what I was doing, which obviously I didn't.
Explain to me what this contraption is here, babe.
Contraption? That's not a contraption. That's a disc.
That's a disc. Oh, did we use this to disc
used
the
But look what
breakthrough,
nature's doing already, how quickly it recovers.
Yeah.
But the reason that had dirt, intentionally had dirt in the back, was for weight to hold it down.
Oh.
But the dirt has become a nice habitat for weeds and stuff. But the pine trees are growing up through here.
Yeah.
But this thing will still work. Hey, babe.
I think there's a dead body on the roof.
Could be. Just coming over to check out our corn. And I think 3 growing seasons, for 2 for sure, but I think it was 3 growing seasons that they were unable to put corn in because it was so wet that they couldn't. So one of the neighbors rented the land this year from Mom. Still couldn't plant the low spots, which is actually the best soil. But they've had a really good growing season so far, plenty of rain, and the corn is looking really good. This actually is very poor soil right here. So normally this isn't great the corn doesn't do very well here, but it's looking really good this year because of all the rains coming almost perfectly so
Yeah.
far.
And they couldn't grow for the last few years because of flooding.
Yes,
Is that
there was
no drainage from
so
the
much
flood,
water
so.
here. It was just literally water, like a giant river flowing through the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So slow moving. So again, this isn't the best soil. It's pretty sandy here, pretty low fertility, but it's also laid fallow for the 2 or 3 years that it's been out, which actually helps, you know, because the land had a chance to recharge. So it's getting, plus with all the right amount of moisture, you can grow good corn here. But this is where this whole area has been irrigated. A lot of farmers irrigate because the soil is sandy and, you know, kind of dries out pretty quickly in a drought. But you need that constant level of moisture to grow crops here. It grows good corn. Actually, it was originally started as a potato farm. My great-grandfather, when he cleared the land, it was started as a potato farm, and he did really well, apparently, from my understanding of my grandma Anderson, that potato farming was very successful here back in the day. And this could grow 100 bushels to the acre, something like that. Wouldn't surprise me. When I farmed it in 1981, we had crops similar to this.
Did you?
Yeah. But back then the genetics weren't as good. The fertility, you know, the understanding of when to fertilize wasn't quite as well known as it is now. So we grew really good crops, or I did that particular year. I think I averaged right at 100 bushels to the acre.
Okay.
And now I think, you know, they probably get 130 or 140 even on dry ground.
Help me!
Boy, there's a huge amount of these fields that they couldn't plant. Look at that. We got to get the drone up and get a good picture of
Squished. Back to the pond. Wow, it's huge.
So Dad and I made this pond with his 450 dozer. So the company used to let him bring dozers home during fire season to be here, and because they wanted to keep equipment, you know, kind of fresh and ready for a fire, he used to be able to run it a few hours just to keep it up and going. I think there was a little gray area there. That's my guess. But anyway, it was nice because we had a tractor with a 6-way blade, a dozer with a 6-way blade, and it was awesome. We came out here and we dug this pond down. It was very small. Actually.
Very small.
The area of the pond itself is very small, but since all the flooding, the pond is overflowed clear into here. But even before the pond, this used to be huge, big timber, white pines and red pines, and in fact, there's a tie here to Grumpy's garage. The trees that Dad and I cut were out of this area. They had flooded and died from a previous flood. I forget what year, in the 70s sometime, and it had killed the trees. So we cut them down and then put them up there where Dad had a sawmill come in, and they cut it into lumber. And then we stacked the lumber in the barn, and it stayed there for 40 years until now it's down in Virginia on the Grumpy's garage.
That's awesome.
So this is
the area where they came from?
And that made us, you know, we had this kind of clearing.
That's awesome.
And so then we started deciding, oh, hey, it's a low spot here. Might as well dig a pond for the deer and what have you.
That's cool. I never knew that. That's a new story for me.
So this was the cabin we started building for Dad. Actually, it was a deer stand. what we wanted to do was give him a place to come out here and just sit and watch his deer, and have a good place to be out here during his retirement. And we never got it finished, but Gabe and Grandpa did get to sit here while Gabe shot his first doe from this stand. So that was cool. And apparently the story goes, his dad told it, that there was a giant buck that he was trying to get Gabe to see, but the doe is all Gabe saw come through the trail. And so he shot the doe. It was a beautiful doe. And so it was still his first deer, which was cool, and Grandpa and Gabe got to experience it right here in this spot.
That's cool.
But we built this with just a chainsaw and cut some trees down and started Lincoln logging.
Yeah. So essentially, this was our first attempt at a log cabin.
You betcha. Made out of green logs. The bugs got on it right away. You could hear them just sawing away in here.
Get some blackberries.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air, and a sparkly shimmer